Hi everyone, today we're going to read the book Going on a Plane. And while we're reading, we're going to think about how we can keep our body with the group while we're traveling and how we can follow the group plan while we're traveling. Going on a plane. This is the Tripp family. Tim Tripp, Mr. Tripp, Mrs. Tripp, Rosie Tripp, Rover Tripp, and Lily Tripp. Tim and Rosie are helping Mr. and Mrs. Tripp to pack. They are going on a plane tomorrow. They set off for the airport. Grandpa Tripp takes them in the car. Lily is staying behind with Granny and Rover the dog. The Tripps unload their bags. One of them topples over. It's Rosie. She collects her things. Sorry, says Mr. Tripp. The Tripps check in. Here are the tickets, Mrs. Tripp says to the lady at the check-in counter. Another lady weighs their luggage. The Tripps go through a metal detector. Their bags go through an X-ray machine to make sure they're not carrying anything dangerous. They board the plane. The flight attendant shows them to their seats. Mr. Tripp puts their bags into a locker above their heads. So are they all keeping their bodies with their group right now? Yes, they are. They're all staying together to make sure they're nice and safe. They're ready for takeoff. Fasten your seatbelt, says the flight attendant. I buckled hippo in, says Rosie. So are they all following the group plan right now? Yes, they're all buckling their seatbelts and listening to the flight attendant to make sure they stay nice and safe. The plane takes off. The pilot starts up the engine of the big plane. The flight attendant tells the passengers the safety rules first. The pilot waits for his turn to take off. Then the plane speeds down the runway and zooms into the air. It's time to eat. Here's your lunch, the flight attendant says to Mrs. Tripp. Another flight attendant gives Mr. Tripp a drink. The flight attendant speaks to the pilots. She goes into the cockpit and asks the pilots if they would like to have something to eat too. The plane will land soon. Mrs. Tripp and Rosie have to use the toilet. Back in their seats, they listen to music on their earphones. Tim looks out the window. We're coming down, he shouts. Soon the plane lands safely on the runway. The Tripps get off the plane. They walk down the stairs to the bus that will take them to the airport building. Catch my hat, cries Mrs. Tripp. They go through passport control. An officer checks their passport. Look, Rosie says to Mr. Tripp. He's putting a big stamp in yours. They collect their luggage. They wait at the baggage carousel until their bags arrive. Here are my things, says Rosie to a porter. So they're waiting their turn to get their luggage. So the group plan was to go check their passports and then stay all together and go get their luggage. So they're doing a good job following the group plan. The Tripps leave the airport. Mrs. Tripp gives the porter some money. Taxi, taxi, shouts Mr. Tripp, and off the Tripps go to their hotel.